get cows to stop farting.
Exactly.
Or burping.
The ban on gas stoves in new buildings.
New federal energy rules could force a shutdown of some of the state's coal-fired power plants.
We are constantly bombarded with a litany of new policies and demands that are alleged to help prevent climate change or protect our environment. Ideas on how to save the planet get a little crazier all the time.
And this is an actual crisis. Got it?
But are those mandates helping or harming us? Preserving a clean environment and finding more efficient ways to improve our standard of living is a desirable goal. But virtually everything we are enacting in the name of climate change is actually doing more to harm the environment, displacing wildlife, increasing poverty, and reversing the living standards of everyone. One example is our reckless adoption of so-called green energy. According to a recent report from the United Nations, habitat loss is the greatest threat to endangered species. Yet industrial-scale wind and solar installations are destroying millions of acres of farmland, grasslands, and forests, killing bats, birds, and beneficial insects, and destroying wildlife habitats. Industrial-scale wind and solar facilities are incapable of providing an uninterrupted supply of electricity. Both require backup fossil fuel or nuclear-generated electricity to compensate for the significant amount of time that these green sources do not produce electricity. If we are to be responsible stewards of the environment, we should be making the greatest amount of energy using the least resources. Wind and solar do the opposite. The cleanest power source is nuclear, and yet due to burdensome environmental regulations which add significant cost to building nuclear plants, only 2 have been constructed in the United States in the past 24 years. Large numbers of coal-fired plants and nuclear reactors are being decommissioned as government subsidies incentivize their replacement with wind turbines and solar panels. While the demand for more electricity is climbing, inefficiencies created by the addition of wind and solar are causing the power grids to become less stable. The likelihood of more blackouts and brownouts is rising everywhere as reliable generation is being replaced by intermittent, variable, and unreliable wind and solar generation. Carbon taxation schemes are being enacted that are designed specifically to drive up the cost of fossil fuel-generated electricity. These government-imposed cost increases are passed on to consumers, adding significantly to the inflation on all goods and services. Meanwhile, in the name of saving the planet, some places are banning the use of natural gas.
San Francisco is now among at least 30 cities across the state to implement this natural gas ban.
Gas is a clean-burning fuel used for electricity generation, cooking, heating water, and warming homes. Yet these bans force people to switch to all-electric power at a time when our power grid is in peril and the price of electricity is skyrocketing. The mandate to switch to all-electric vehicles over the next 5 to 10 years will require a doubling of the electric grid by 2040. That will necessitate the addition of 50,000 miles of new transmission lines globally, enough to encircle the globe twice. Accomplishing such a feat is virtually impossible given the lack of available mining resources, electrical lineman shortages, and long lead time requirements for approval. It also means even more productive land taken through eminent domain. The stated intent of all these illogical policies is to reduce the release of CO2 from fossil fuel sources. The goal of reaching net carbon zero by 2050 is not only dangerous, it also harms the planet by reducing much-needed CO2. For the past 150 million years, carbon dioxide levels have been dropping steadily at a rate greater than it has been replaced in the atmosphere. Our use of fossil fuels has been liberating CO2 locked up for millions of years in coal, oil, and natural gas. We have reversed the depletion of this essential building block of life. Fossil fuels are actually benefiting plant life and thus humankind. Harnessing the power of fossil fuels we've been able to control our environment, improve living standards, prolong life expectancy, expand transportation, advance medicine, and upgrade agricultural production. Virtually every product we use is manufactured through the use of fossil fuels and at the same time putting more CO2 back where it is needed, into the atmosphere. Thanks to more beneficial CO2, agricultural production is accelerating. Deserts are shrinking and forests are expanding. With all that in mind, what logical reason is there to be cutting CO2 emissions? The short answer is none. The experts at the CO2 Coalition want to share their universe of knowledge with you. Go to our website now to stay up to date.